Hello and welcome to Break Speak. I am Brigadier Rakesh Bhatia. In today's episode, we will talk about evolution of the People's Liberation Army. While covering People's Liberation Army, I will also talk about political work because I very strongly feel that without political work, there is no PLA, and vice versa, there is no PLA without the political work. At the end of today's episode, you will be able to answer the question on evolution of People's Liberation Army and give the prominent events which defined its core philosophies. You will also understand why the ideological training was one of the most important component of Red Army, as the PLA was called at that time, and why Mao considered it absolutely essential to carry out ideological training. The primary task of the armed forces of a nation is to ensure territorial integrity of a nation and to defend its sovereignty. But this is not the case in case of a communist country. Like in China, PLA's primary task is to ensure that the Communist Party of China remains in power. Like Mao said, the task of PLA is not to prepare to defend the homeland against aggressors, but to broaden and deepen party control over the masses. Whereas most of the countries do everything possible to keep the soldiers away from politics. But the Chinese Communist Party does everything possible to put politics into them through political work. Bit of history. Till 1911, China was ruled by Qing dynasty. Its last ruler, Piu, was overthrown in 1911 by a party called Kuomintang, which means Nationalist Party. It is also spelled as Kuomintang and in short called GMT. It was supported by the United States of America. The political head of this party was Sun Yat-sen, who was sitting in a chair in white clothes, and his military commander was Chiang Kai-shek. In 1912, this was the state of China. As you see, number of warlords controlled the countryside. In 1926, the Kuomintang party decided to reunify China and eliminate these warlords. The Communist Party of China, which was formed in 1921, also supported the Kuomintang party. The year 1927 was very eventful for PLA. On 12th of April 1927, the KMT attacked communists. So any possibility of a KMT CCP alliance broke that day. That day, Mao said that political power grows out of the barrel of a gun. He further amplified that in case a political party has to come in power, it has to control the gun, and gun can be controlled only by the army. So he took the decision to form party's own army. On 1st August 1927, 20,000 members of the Kuomintang party defected and they joined the communists. Together, they attacked city of Nanchang, which is in Jiangxi province, southwest of Shanghai. And next morning, they took control of the city. 1st August 1927 is celebrated as the raising day of the PLA. On PLA's flag, characters meaning 8 and 1 are still used along with a golden star. While the golden star represents the Communist Party of China, the two characters represent 8 and 1, signifying 8th month, first day, that is 1st August 1927. Another event immediately which followed was on 7th September 1927 and called the Autumn Harvest Uprising. On this day, again, the Kuomintang party attacked the Communist Party of China. Mao reacted by saying that political power must be seized through revolutionary armed forces. He decided to make his own army powerful. However, at that time, CPC lacked fighting experience and they flee from the urban areas and started dominating the rural areas. They used rural areas to encircle cities where the Kuomintang army camps were located, thereby choking their supplies. Mao also realized that in order to ensure that the loyalty of the masses is towards the Communist Party, he needs a system of political work to be done through political commissars and political committees at all levels. He also eliminated the pay and ration differentials between officers and men. Take your mind back to philosophy of communism, which says there should be no class distinction. Mao was also convinced that man's dedication, imagination, courage, and perseverance under the guidance of the Communist Party can prevail against the material and technical superiority of the enemy. Now, this myth of the PLA continued, and it was during 1979 Sino-Soviet War that this myth was broken. This is the organization to carry out political work headed by Party Front Committee, which was chaired by Mao, under whom there was a political department, which later was called General Political Department under the Central Military Commission, the most powerful organization to control the armed forces of China. There was party committee at every level above the company, a party branch at company, and party cells in a squad or a platoon. Mao also enunciated four concepts of political work. The first one being three major tasks of PLA, which were to fight, to raise money, which was later changed to produce, and work with masses. Fighting is natural to armed forces, but in this case, the PLA was not fighting against any outsider, but KMT, which were their own Chinese people. And the recruitment was through masses. So that is why he said that you raise money, you don't depend on the local population, which incidentally the KMT troops were doing, so that the masses view the PLA favorably. He also said that by carrying out these three major tasks, it will define the way egalitarian relationship could be attained. The word egalitarian means equal relations. That is, again, where there is no class distinction as given out in the Maoist philosophy. The second concept was major principles of political work, which say that officers and soldiers should unite. There should be unity between the army and the people, and at the same time, we must disintegrate the enemy. The aim was to eradicate the feudal practices in the army, unity between army and people, which forbade the slightest violation of people's interests. And the third is the principle of disintegrating the enemy troop by conducting psychological warfare, like lenient treatment to prisoners of war. This, the PLA is conducting till date when they are carrying out propaganda and psychological warfare as part of three warfare against its enemy. The three democracies Mao spoke about were political, economical, and military. In political, he said only the performance and the willingness to fight matters and not the class for promotion of a soldier. In economical, he said that the soldiers will manage the unit supplies and foodstuff on their own. And in the military, he said even the junior most soldiers' opinion will be sought before deciding on the combat mission, so that he also gives all out once he is convinced and he has had some contribution towards planning a mission. Now, this move helped the party. 70% of the party members were defectors from the KMT, and this ideological training changed them into a loyal, disciplined, and honest fighting force. The fourth concept is known as 3-8 formula. The three main rules of discipline were: obey orders in all your action, do not take even a needle from the masses, and turn in everything captured. And the 8 point of attention are as given. They say that you must speak politely, pay for what you buy, return everything you borrow, do not hit or swear at people, do not damage crops, behave properly with women, and do not ill-treat captives. Now, if you see, the entire concept of 3-8 formula is to win over the masses. Because Mao said the gorilla must move amongst the people as a fish swims in the sea. Till such time you do not have a friendly population, a guerrilla force cannot operate in an area. Another very important event that took place in 34 was the Long March. The Long March was started by the Red Army from the province of Fujian in the south, and they traveled approximately 6,000 miles in a year. While they were traveling, KMT was constantly harassing them, attacking them. Now, this 2 years of march, the PLA learned the technique of survival and adaptation. They also developed military strategies like guerrilla warfare, mobile warfare, surprise attacks, and how to avoid direct confrontation with superior enemies. Most importantly, they revised their concept of revolutionary ideology. That is, how political work needs to be carried out to ensure total loyalty of the soldier. In 1937, Japanese invaded China. That is the time there was a temporary stoppage of hostility between the Kuomintang and the CCP. Now, both of them formed united front to resist Chinese aggression. Now, CCP played a very important role by infiltrating and going behind the Japanese line. During this campaign of almost 8 years, there are a lot of lessons that PLA learned. These lessons we'll cover in the subsequent episode and also learn what did PLA learn from this campaign. The end of World War II in the Pacific in 1945, the Chinese Civil War between the Kuomintang and the Communist Party was resumed. It was in 45 that the Red Army was renamed as Chinese People's Liberation Army. It was able to take advantage of the large quantity of leftover Japanese weapons and ordnance. They even got large caliber artillery and tanks. And from guerrilla tactics, PLA graduated to set piece battles. So, having gained strength during the war against Japan, the Communist Party intensified its effort and overthrew the KMT government. A new unified government under the leadership of Mao was created. The three pillars of this revolution were Chao En-lai, Mao Zedong, and Zhu De. In September 1949, Chiang Kai-shek of KMT escaped to the island of Taiwan with some 2 million supporters. He proclaimed Taipei as the temporary capital of Republic of China. The Republic of China exists in Taiwan even today. The Taiwanese government claims themselves to be sole legitimate authority over all of China, whereas the People's Republic of China calls unification of Taiwan as an unfinished agenda of the revolution of 1949. With this, I come to the end of today's episode. I will request you to like, share, and subscribe. Continue working hard. All the best, and Jai Hind.